Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to get your first kind of single exoplanet transit. There's another set of tools if you're going to look at an exoplanet over months and monitor it and try and catch lots of transits. But this is just when I want a single transit, probably the first I've ever done, and I just want to get it and figure out what's going on to the planet and the star. So the best way to do that is to actually pick a telescope rather than an exoplanet, and go from there. Exoplanets, they're going around stars, and some go slow and some go fast, and then some are at angles, some are bigger and smaller. And if you try to go through picking an exoplanet and then figuring out what telescope it's on, it's very tricky because uh, which telescope where is going to see it at what time, because the planet goes in front of a star at a particular time, which half the time is not during the night. Very confusing. So the best way to get your first exoplanet transit is to pick a telescope. So let's go to Access Telescope. Some telescopes are better than others, but we'll deal with that later. All of them will be able to get an exoplanet transit, basically. At the moment, just from the top ones, if you've got Southern exoplanet, ECO1 or LCS1 is probably the best. In the Northern Hemisphere, MRC2 and either of the AROs are probably good. Maybe MRC2. Anyway, that's my picks for Northern and Southern telescopes as of 23rd of October. That'll always change. But, so let's pick ECO1. Doesn't matter what scope, we're just looking for an exoplanet. That brings you to the telescope page, which you've probably had to play around with a little bit already. And we have exoplanet here. So I've clicked on exoplanet. Now what is exoplanet? So for this particular scope, what is the list of targets of exoplanet transits? What exoplanets are going in front of their star on this night? And the night is controlled here, 23rd of the 10th. That's today. So these are available tonight, which is kind of useless because it's cloudy. Aside from that, that's what's here tonight. We've got a blue one, orange one, and a red one. Now, the color coding is how good they are, and green is the best. And so if you're doing your first one, you should go for green. So there's no green tonight. Let's go to next night. No, still only blue. There's a green. I found a green. So we've got WASP 4b here. What does this all mean? Well, the color is just how easily visible is the transit. Usually means it's a bigger planet making a larger dip going in front of the star so you can see it easy. And of course, for your first one, you want an easy one. So that's what the colors are. And that's actually related directly to this column here, depth. How much light gets blocked, basically, of the star as the planet goes in front of it. So 2%. Typically with these ground-based telescopes, we can see above 1%, usually pretty easy. So the blue area, usually you can see it, but it's not as good as green. Orange is like borderline. You might be able to see it, you might not. You'd have to have a pretty good night. And red is probably not going to be able to see it. You could try. So we've got our green target up here. We can click this show visibility. Now this is a visibility chart you may have encountered in different areas of the site. Visibility chart shows you how high an object is over time. Here, this is for this particular night, and you can see time. It goes from sunset to sunrise, and you can see it goes up and over and down. But the important thing for us is, when does the transit happen? So you have a planet that goes in front of the star, and before it goes in front of the star, you have this flat bit here, right? And that's just the star brightness. So we need to measure the star brightness before it goes in front of it, otherwise we won't know it's going in front of it. So when it goes in front of it, then you have this point here. That's when it starts to go in front of it, and then the middle is when it's fully in front of it, and then when it's coming out, and then the flat piece. So you have to capture that whole process of the star on its own, planet entering and exiting, and a bit more on the other side. It tells you the time here that it starts 11:25 and ends 3:33, and it's still above, pretty high above the ground. So we can capture it all most of the second half of the night. That's what that visibility chart means. So you can click on other ones, and it'll show you them all for different objects in different parts of the sky. But we'll just stick with our green one here. Over here, this is just numerical form of this graph, and the number underneath in the brackets is its altitude. How high is it above the ground? So stars rise and set, and so the star you're looking at with the exoplanet is going to rise and set. So it's telling you it's above the ground for the whole time. Other last thing in the list, well, a couple last things. Here we have some priorities. There's a couple of projects that you should have a look into. One's called Exoplanet Watch. Type Exoplanet Watch into Google and have a look around. They've got lots of videos and tools and things. And that's students and amateurs and everyone getting exoplanet transits to contribute to NASA space missions. Next one next door is ExoClock, which is same principle. It's European for European space agency space telescopes, and these are just priorities. So this object is there's 2,791 objects more important than this object to observe, according to this Exoplanet Watch, and it is low in ExoClock. So it's not useful for the space telescopes. It's useful for us because we just want to get an exoplanet transit. And then how far is the moon away from the sky, and how bright is it? That's about it. So we can press schedule, and that will automatically make a calendar event in the calendar. So I'm going to click it, and if we press OK here, it'll pop us out to the calendar, and then we can see there it is. It has put it in there. So it was 11 something until 3:30. Yep, that looks about right. Okay, so we'll go back into Exoplanner. It has dropped me on the wrong day. The last thing we can do with this thing is click on WASP 4b, the actual name of the planet. And, we could have had it go to any one of these sites, but the realistic thing is each of these sites has useful things for you to look, and Google brings them all up. So you got NASA, so you know how to Google. But you see each of these sites has useful things about the planet and simulations and things, and lots of numbers and details. There's a paper and open, yeah. So you can go poking around, learning about the actual object you're going to look at, maybe after you've picked it. And so keep an eye on that. And when your calendar event is observed or not observed, you will get an email. Hopefully it's observed, but if it's cloudy, it won't be. And if you get an email back, then, just go and schedule one the next night. So if you're trying to get in a single exoplanet transit, try and just do it on the evening during the day, if there's a spot, or the next day. And keep in mind on the weather, depending on where the scope is. The scopes that are nearby you, then you'll have a pretty good idea whether it's going to be cloudy or not. If it's going to be cloudy, skip over to somewhere. MRC2 in California is usually pretty clear. If we have a look, the enclosure is open at the moment. And the weather, you can come and check the weather for this evening. And you can see the weather is clear. California is quite a sunny place. So California is a good bet if a telescope local to you is not is cloudy. New Mexico can also be good. Not today though. There is all sorts of rain and clouds over top. But it's really good when it's clear. So keeping in mind the weather as well. So that's how you put it in. There'll be another video of what to do after it's come back pretty soon. So that's how you select a single exoplanet transit and schedule it on a scope to be observed.